from being a brainwashed super weapon and now being finally set free by using the best dialogue for Wolverine's character of all time, his iconic line, to a casual pit stop in hell. It's time to wrap up part 2 of issue 7 of Ultimate Wolverine. If you missed part 1, it'll be right over here on my page, by the way. But yeah, welcome back to the Dissection Table. This is where we take all these video game trailers and break it down bit by bit. And this right here, issue 7, part 2 of Ultimate Wolverine, is probably them setting up the stage for this big climactic battle of what's going to happen in issue 8. So now, without further ado, let's go. As seen in the previous issue, Wolverine basically got this much-needed pep talk from Shadowcat, and it's the speech we've seen multiple times whenever it comes to Wolverine's character, that everything that he did when he was brainwashed as the Winter Soldier, that wasn't the real him. And he can worry about his problems at another time because they've got a meeting to get to. On their way to said meeting, Wolverine bumps into Sabretooth. Now keep in mind, in this verse, it's not the age-old conflict of the rivalry and just this sheer animosity between the two characters. Here in this verse, they were kind of brothers in arms. There was genuine camaraderie between these two characters this time around. Prior to being taken captive by the Eurasia Republic, the bad guys this time around, Wolverine made Sabretooth, aka Victor Creed right here, make him the promise that if he got abducted and taken and turned into basically a weapon of the bad guys this time around, Sabretooth would track him down and eliminate him before Wolverine would ultimately do everything that he did as the Winter Soldier. Sabretooth did remark back in the past when Wolverine made him make that promise that would be a little bit of a tall order considering they both have pretty broken healing factors. And Sabretooth is actually telling Wolverine he should be thankful that he didn't unalive him, considering the fact he's here, he can rejoin the fight, and he's alive, but Wolverine is still upset with him that he didn't unalive him because he did all these terrible things as the Winter Soldier. This is getting heated. Thankfully, Shadowcat stepped in and managed to cool everybody down before these two went at it. I like it that no matter what story we're in, there's always like this bitter animosity, even if it's very toned down between Wolverine and Sabretooth. Anyway, time for the big meeting. The whole crew here of all the good guys this time around are right here to join in and plan their next assault onto the bad guys. As the meeting is called, Mikhail Rasputin, brother to Colossus, the actual real bad guy this time around, Mikhail Rasputin basically tells everybody, calm down, the tension in the room is so thick you could cut an adamantium knife through it, but Wolverine, we freed him from his brainwashing. Everybody be at ease, even though he did really terrible things. And I mean really terrible things. But yeah, Wolverine, he's free, he's on our side. Now let's move on with the meeting. Mikhail Rasputin, once the leader of the bad guy group, the Eurasian Republic, yeah, he was actually their leader, but he ended up staging his own demise to rebel against the now bad guy group to join up with the actual good guys, Wolverine, and all the actual, like I said, genuine good people. And that's also why, coincidentally, the bad guy group really hates Gambit, because Gambit is the one who helped Mikhail Rasputin stage his own demise. Which, can I just say, giving Gambit an eye patch instantly gives him some Metal Gear Solid vibes. Please, Marvel, give him an eye patch moving forward from now on. It just adds so much to his character. Anyway, the movie moves along, and basically they conclude right now that the good guy group, they're not staying on the defensive now. They're going on the offensive, because the enemy's greatest weapon, their Winter Soldier, is a piece now officially off the board. More so, however, they have this location in East Berlin that they need to get to because it's a prison, because the bad guy groups want to weaponize held captive mutants and turn them into weapons, aka possible more Winter Soldiers like what they did to Wolverine. This prison they need to break into is something called Snake Island. Sounds like an amazing place. The prison they need to break into is just located on Snake Island, but the actual name of the prison is something called... Holy... I feel like I'm going to offend everybody just even trying to pronounce this one. Stabil... I can get that first part down pretty well. Stabil... But the last part... Nicht? Nicht? Stabil nicht. Stabil nicht. It's two eyes. I don't... Stabil nicht. Stabil nicht. Stabil nicht. I sound like I got like a malfunction going on. Stabil nicht. Stabil nicht. I know some of you are going to say, oh, this is pronounced this way. You're going to probably spell it out for me. Tell me this is how you pronounce it. Well, newsflash. Even with that kind of help, I'm from the South. I got too much of an accent whenever I try to do these things. I don't even pronounce y'all as y'all. I always pronounce it, how you doing, yo? Anyway, they need to get to this island, free the mutants before they get turned into weapons. Also, coincidentally, they plugged Legion, who in this time around got turned into some kind of AI. They plugged him into Wolverine's brain to undo the Winter Soldier programming, undo the brainwashing, but also to gain intel, such as the location of that island. And what an experience that was for Wolverine. Anyway, it's officially time for everybody to be given their designated nicknames and code names, I guess is what we would call them, including Hank himself also being codenamed Beast. We've got Gambit called Gambit, Widow called Widow here, and then it's finally decided... Yeah, Logan doesn't even have a nickname. He doesn't even have a code name. What should he go by? And Red Guardian here looks at Wolverine. He's like, I got it. The hair, the claws. Wolverine. The name of a character whose legacy has gone down in Marvel Comics aside, let's cut back over to Dr. Pristovich, I think is the proper pronunciation. Let's see how she's doing over in hell. It's not going too good. The bad guys just simply being bad guys, not realizing that eventually the programming and mental conditioning over Wolverine was eventually going to be overtaken because of his healing factor, but still they want to put the blame on the poor doctor right here. Don't feel too bad for her. This is the prime head doctor responsible for all this stuff going on with all these mutants on this island and stuff and so much more. But still, yeah, it's kind of harsh. Unfortunately for all of us, the doctor has an ace up her sleeve that she uses as a bargaining chip for her life to be spared by the bad guys, that being Colossus, Omega Red, and Magic right here. And I've always said half of the heroes in Marvel and DC as well, half of them would make far more terrifying villains than their actual villains. But yeah, Dr. Pristovich here, she basically says she has a weapon, something that, well, yeah, it could take out all of the opposition, the good guys, but it could also spell disaster for all of us. So, after hearing what the good doctor had to say, Omega Red, Magic, they take her back to Colossus to share that information with him. Okay, Colossus, you definitely got the supervillain vibe going on right here. But guess what that super weapon, this thing that they can officially weaponize, just like how they did with Wolverine. Guess what that weapon is? Guess what this weapon is that could take out all of the good guys, the opposition, the resistance, but could also potentially take all of them out as well. Guess what that is? A weaponized Phoenix Force. Let's not forget Jean Grey and even the brain of Charles Xavier are both being held captive by the bad guys. That's terrifying. That's kind of cool, but at the same time, that's yeesh. Oh, and if the stage wasn't set enough for the grand conclusion of all of this, we also had communications intercepted that potentially looks like that there could be a mole, a spy in the ranks of the good guys. My money is on Legion potentially being that spy, considering he only became an AI thanks to technology that Beast used that was seized from the bad guys, the Eurasian Republic. That's just my personal opinion, though. It could be Black Widow. I mean, she was kind of known for being an agent, a double agent, a spy. But yeah, that was it, part 2 of issue 7 of Ultimate Wolverine. If you guys enjoyed this, please make sure to give me a follow, like, and a comment. Definitely make sure you're following for the future issue 8, the grand conclusion, the big battle that's definitely coming. And definitely make sure you're following because I don't just break down comics, but also video games, trailers, and so much more. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed, and I hope to see y'all in the next one.